Okay. Kia ora whānau, welcome to, I want to say another episode of NUKU Atu. Today we are having a kōrero with the beautiful Benita Tahuri. Kia ora, Sister B.
Kia ora, ngā mihi, kia ora, evening.
So I just, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Kiane. I am the founder and creator of NUKU. And Sister B, would you like to share with our whānau who you are and what mahi you do?
Kia ora tātou, ngā mihi. Tuatahi kia koe te tuakana, thanks for the invite to come and have a chat tonight. We couldn't be in a more perfect time or place or space to be doing this, so thanks for that. He uri ahau nā Ngāti Kahungunu ki te Wairoa, tūhoi hoki, I tuku ake o mātou whānau I te Wairoa, I te Tairawhiti, I kuraina hoki au ki reira me tō mātou nā whānau. So from born and bred in Wairoa, school there, actually went to kindergarten. There's no such thing as kohanga in my day, a long time ago, but and was brought up there and been living in Hamilton most recently for 11 years, couple of years stint in Wellington, but now back in Kahungunu homelands and loving it. My mahi, I work, my day job, I work as a leadership, development, training, talent management, SME, which is a subject matter expert for Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. By head office based in Tawamutu. I also run a business around personal development, and I use a number of different strategies, including NLP, hypnosis, just all sorts of strategies to help others realise and reach their potential in whatever they want to do in life.
And I guess a few people might recognise your face and your voice from NRG Rising.
Yes, NRG Rising was a baby created from me hitting the 40s, actually, and thinking, oh, what shall I do? Oh, I think I want to start a band. Let's start a band. So it was one of those kinds of something that I just wanted to do, mostly to support and role model to the girls that if you want something in life, you make it happen. Whether you're actually talented, like me, I didn't think I was that talented, but I knew they were. So I thought, well, I've got to show them. I can't just tell them to go and use their talent. So, yeah.
So have you been finding Rahui over these last 2 and a bit weeks?
Yes, we're in 2-week celebration, aren't we? Well, actually, I think it's been one of the most not productive, but most enjoyable. It's actually enjoyable. I really enjoy it. I've been enjoying it mostly because I'm here with my stepdaughter and 3 of my mokopuna.
Wow.
And so they're trapped here with me. And Honey's here, and then I'm with my sister and brother-in-law and my partner, so we're all here. And because I'm back in Kahungunu, it's really important for me because my moko sing Waikato Tainui Waiata, which is cool because they're from there too, but it's a chance for Nanny to get in there and do some Kahungunutanga stuff with them. And so started in week 1 with the karakia of Ruawharo. And so now they can whip it out, the whole thing, this karakia, it's long as...
I think I saw them, was that today or yesterday? I saw you share that online.
Yeah, yes. And so I'm really proud of them, but also quite, chuffed with myself to finally have that nanny time because I'm quite a young nanny, and I guess I'm still out there working and doing it in life. It's just it's been an opportunity for me to actually slow down, pause, and not so much recreate, but re-engage and get in touch with things that maybe have been put on the back burner. Yeah, that.
Like what? So I know one of the things you've done since being in Rahui is you've actually had a haircut.
I've
Um,
had a haircut. I have. Like,
I wanted to point that out because that's quite a big deal for you. You had very long dreadlocks. I've always known you. In the few years that I have known you,
yeah,
you had dreads that come up here when you put them all up, and you've gone and chopped them all off. What was the significance behind your haircut? Which I have to say, when you first put online that you were cutting your hair, I thought you were shaving your head completely, and I was freaking out a little bit for you. But then to see that you just had a bit of a haircut, well, Kate's point.
yeah. I know. Well, what was there's a few reasons. I have been thinking about it for a few years. It's, obviously it's part of who I am, my identity. There's the tapu side, or the sacred nature of hair cutting as well for me. And I hadn't done it for like 19 years. I had dreadlocks, long dreadlocks. That's how long. Being on Rahui, Noho Rahui, allowed me a chance to go there where I wanted to go and think about actually. And I woke up one morning, I thought, you know what it is? I've known I wanted to do that for a while, but I couldn't consciously know what it was. And it was actually the mauri of the journey from those years that travelled with me as my hair was growing. So it was like carrying all that still with me. And it's quite it's a personal thing, but that's it. That's totally it. I thought, you know what? In this length here, I've had 2 relationships. I've had a whole lot of stuff happen along the way, good stuff and not so good stuff during that time. And I wanted to make a symbolic, spiritual cut and clear from that energy so that I could move forward in my new relationship, which I absolutely adore the space with my partner of nearly a year now already. And it was actually quite a powerful process, almost, ceremonial, even though we did it in a way that was kind of lighthearted and just relaxed outside, but symbolically, and plus he was the one that cut them as well. So it was like this severing, but it was like the start of our journey. And yeah, so that was the kind of that side of it. And the other side of it was I wanted to, I don't know, I think the image of my locks and the way, because I used to put them up, so it's quite, I'm saying, not elegant, but kind of like statue, like kind of, I don't know, and I almost felt like I had to put this perception of that across out of the world, and I wanted to be free of that and actually change the expectation and the relationship I have with self in order to free myself to be more playful, more fun, create new spaces that I haven't yet gone to. And so that's been freeing as well. And I can feel the difference. I feel it is, more playful. I don't know, it's a different part of me that.
That's beautiful. It suits you. It's a great length. I've just, as I'm kind of reading through some of the comments, Melissa, who you might have met at NUKU Live last year. So Sister B was one of our speakers at NUKU Live last year, and Melissa was managing the event for us, and she's also a hairdresser. And she said, first of all, she said it's cute. And then she said that length is very current. So
oh, look at that. Yes.
And she said a lot of wahine use haircuts as a way of cleansing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. And then, my auntie Irie, kia ora. She's got dreads too. She said, I feel the locks tell a story of your journeys, and it's a fresh new start of your journey. So atahua.
Well done. Thank you.
Yeah, I find it really interesting, this period that we're in. I guess what I've been engaging with a lot of social media, which I actually, a couple of days a week, I try and just step away from it completely and just be 100% focused on my pepe or my mahi or whatever it is that I'm doing. And I find that there's a couple of different camps of people in the Rahui. It's those that are, using this opportunity to get fit and get healthy, and then there's some that are doing it to work really hard and get all this mahi done, and there's others that are just taking the time to step back and reflect on themselves and reflect on their whānau and their situation, and using the mandatory break, I suppose, to reset. Is that something, I know that that's something that you talk a lot about with people that you work with, and the mahi that you do around resetting. What's some advice that you have for wahine who are in that camp and who are wanting to use this time to reconnect, to reset, and I guess this particular period we're in the Maramas is a good one as well. It's a super moon tonight. It's Otaru, or is it Otaru tonight? I think it's Otaru tonight. And so what advice do you have for wahine around that?
I say go deep and just pick one thing, because actually when you shift one thing, everything shifts. So we don't, like I've seen people like you, I've been on social media, I'm seeing people say, I'm going to do this and that and create this, and I'm having a break and then I'm going to get into it. It's like we set ourselves up to fail and to feel bad about ourselves because we're good at doing that. So be gentle, be kind to self, choose one thing, but choose one thing that you would in the past have avoided. Yeah. So the one thing that you've got to do, but you just don't want to go there for whatever reason, it'll be that one. That's the one that's going to have most significant shift in terms of the quality of how you show up in life moving forward. It could be like just cut your hair, because I know, it could be, it doesn't have to be like la momentous, kind of thing. I think that for people, it's a side to self-development and personal journey that I want to, I guess it's to dispel that myth that it has to be torturous, hard, and serious.
I was actually just having this conversation this week, and sorry, kia ora te para, she said it's rākau nui today. So for this rohe, it's rākau nui. For another rohe, it might be something else, but we're rākau nui. So I guess just before I say this next thing, go and put your taonga outside so they can recharge under the rākau nui full moon. And maybe we can have a quick kōrero about that. But I was just having the conversation this week around how we as wahine, and I think in particular Indigenous wahine, make ourselves, like the suffering and the hardness of our lives and the sacrifices we make and all the mahi that we do, it's like all of that negativity is supposedly makes us a good wahine, or makes us an honourable wahine, or a wahine that's worthy. So the more suffering we have and the more sacrifices we make and the more mahi that we do and the multiple hats and the multiple potai that we're wearing, supposedly makes us a good wahine. What's your whakaaro on that?
I actually love that. I think part of it is that thing that, because we've almost always been suppressed and oppressed, we've had to fight our way out of it, right? We have to do everything just to measure up to a normal standard of others. Perceived, this is perceived. But I play into that all the time as well, like, not just do that, I want to do that, and that, and that, and that. Just, you know what I mean? It's like, it's good to have the driven, motivated commitment and drive, absolutely, totally, but not at the expense of your true self. And I started to feel like I was almost going there. It's like, actually, people don't really know me at all, and I want people to know this other part of me. Some people do in the band and the music scene, and the people we hang out in different areas, but But it's like, I want to just be playful because that's who I am. Actually, fun is a high value to me, and I'm allowed to have fun as a really high value to me. It doesn't have to be just whānau, whenua, and, you know, it doesn't have to be just that. It can be all these other things as well. And I give myself and allow myself permission to have what I want in life. And one of those things is fun. I remember years ago when I was doing, only 15 years ago, when I did some personal development and stuff, and I was going through it, and I had this really weird connection between fun and irresponsible. And I used to feel like if I was having too much fun, I was being irresponsible. And it's one of those beliefs, you know. It's like, well, that means I can never ever have fun. It's like, what's that? So it's actually having fun being irresponsible. It's like, no. So, of course, you know, I have to deal with that. And I think without, you know, and in those days, of course, it was self-harming fun, like drinking too much, because that was the only time, you know, then I'd go overboard and like too much fun and like, well, I don't give a fuck anyway because I'm irresponsible. You know what I mean? It's like, but why can't I just have normal fun and still be a responsible person, you know? But it's an interesting thing.
And why can't you just do what you want and love yourself without feeling like that's being selfish?
Yeah, I didn't think the selfish thing, but I knew I had times of just going, you know what? And the girls knew this really well. Once I got to a certain point, I was out. Like, don't talk to me. I'm doing my own thing. You know, so there was those times. But yeah, I don't know if it's just with age or is it just with the more shit you clear out from your own stuff, the freer you get, you know, and with age, or it's a bit of both, you know. It's like,
what are some of the ways, so other than cutting your hair, what are some of the ways that you clear your shit?
Every day in the morning, I'll always acknowledge I've got this thing about skies, like the sky and totally. So that's almost a healing. If can't get to water, it's the sky, which is totally accessible every day. So I do this karakia every morning, acknowledging that, you know. So that's one thing. So I've had these anchors. What else do I do? If I'm going places, I will do this kind of instant cut kind of process as I arrive or leave a place. It's like an energy cut. So I used to imagine, when I first started doing this stuff, I would imagine, you know, a white light clearing down my body as I leave a certain place of work or that I regularly go to, which cuts the energy ties, and then leaves that place there, and then I can move on to the next space and not take things with me. Yeah. What else do I do? I don't know. That's it.
I want to ask you a couple of specific questions, and I'm just thinking which ones I'm going to ask first. But I wanted to ask you about raising kōrero, because I'm raising a kōrero, a very headstrong, stubborn, vocal, energetic kōrero. And so I wanted to ask you, did you do anything specific around raising your kōrero? Do you have advice
oh my gosh,
for raising kōrero?
And
I suppose being with your kōrero and your mokopuna during rahui, do you have any advice for me under rahui with my child?
You know, a small part of because I have lots of reasons for doing stuff, but the NRG Rising journey and me seeing the talent that they had was one of my strategies around actually spending more time and getting to know them more. Honey's out the gate. Everybody knows Honey's out the gate. You know, she's her own like Taurus self. she's loud. She's like, it's everything you said. And one breath, I'm like, fuck, these girls of mine are awesome. And then the other breath, I'm going, oh, fuck, what have I created? These monsters, it's like. And then I think, well, I shouldn't give myself so much credit because really they make their own choices. But advice, so that was part of the energy journey. So I got, which was even difficult being a mother and in the band with them, which caused a whole lot of other issues, like they grew up in that scene. So that was difficult, like totally difficult. But I don't know if I'm qualified to give advice about teenage girls. Surviving it is good.
Great wine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just think we do the best we can with the resources we have, and that's okay. I think it's that same thing about we are enough, we have enough, we're good enough, and they're bloody lucky to have us as their parents, as their mothers.
Yeah. My cousin Katz just said, kia ora. He kind of reminded me about, you're talking about NRG Rising, and I wanted to ask you about some of the highlights of that musical side of your career. What have been some of those highlights? I mean, I guess performing with your daughters is one of
the biggest. Every time I'm on stage, I look at them and I think, holy fuck, they're so talented and I'm so not, but it's so good to see them being their awesome selves, like it is. And actually, when you talk about cleansing and clearing, that moment that we're up there, because we could be scrapping the minute before we hit the stage, like about who hasn't got earrings or who hasn't got shoes or whatever it is. And we hit that stage and we're in the zone and there's nothing. That's just like a blank clear space. So that's that pause. Lots of moments, so many more than we started out. We did have a vision though for the band. It was creating a space for wahine and music in the scene, sharing Indigenous messages, sharing messages of empowerment with Indigenous brothers and sisters across the world, the globe. And it was about okay to want to look after yourself and look good and not feel skanky hoe about it, just out there and be proud to be woman. And we've got something to offer that men just can't, and that's cool. And so we wanted to have that space, and that's what the energy journey was about.
Was there any did you have any particular spaces or places around the world that really surprised you in a good way, that when you went to perform there, maybe you had a certain expectation, but once you got the audience was totally different to what you expected? Have you had any of those experiences?
Just the first time we went to Gathering of Nations in New Mexico, like the first trip was absolutely mind-blowing, absolutely blew our minds, like changed our lives and journey. Actually, in actual fact, I came back, we all came back changed people for the better, but I came back feeling quite shallow, feeling like, people say globally that Māori lead the way and all those types of things, and we've got this treaty. But when I went there, there was a deeper sense of in the res and the different tribal nations that we got to hang out with and go and visit different spaces and places and ceremonies. It came from a deep, for me personally, that they had this connection that I couldn't even touch. It was, for me, I felt like we would do our processes, not be our process. Like we would do a pōheri, but we wouldn't be the pōheri. I can't explain it without being insulting to anybody, but I think we've learnt, academically, relearnt, reclaimed these spaces, and this is not everybody, of course, but often it's like just comes out. It's a process So what I got from that was how to be quieten down and to be, I am, we say, ko au te awa ko te awa ko au. And it's like, it was that and Standing Rock. I came back saying, you know what, I am the Maunga. I am standing. There is complete flip. It's like, it's just a complete different space, Indigenous space. And we talked a little bit about what does it mean to be Indigenous, my views on that. But it's about, we are not separate of the environment. We are totally a part of, integral part of the earth. And I hear people say it, but for me, I feel, I almost, from Standing Rock experience, I now feel the pulse and the energy of Mother Earth within me as she's like, and at times, there are moments and times when I'm certain places in a certain mind where I sense it, because that's what happened on the front line to actually all of us when we're on there. Like, it's just another thing. So I've learned and want to slow down with it all, and actually, when I say the words from our ancestors, I say and resonate completely from every sense that I have with that space, so that I can feel. So I feel that. So yeah.
Well, how old were you when you received your moko kawai?
Oh, I don't know. It was 1997 when I got my lips done first, which was a long time ago. And then 2003, I had my kawai.
And was there a reason why you got your lips done first?
Yeah, because that's all I was given.
Okay.
Like, I just knew I was only going to have my lips done. It was like, there was no, like, it was finished. I actually had lips for 7 years, just lips.
Wow.
And I never thought I'd get the kawai. I don't know, I just didn't, everything about that whole thing, that's what the messages were. You're going to get your lips done. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get my lips done. Oh, I've got to get my lips done. Oh, what would it be like when I have my lips done?
I asked because I wonder whether being a wahine mau moko has had an impact on how you feel as an Indigenous woman, how you resonate and connect with other Indigenous peoples. And we're talking about, your connection you feel with Papatuanuku, whether your moko kawai had anything to do with any part of that, or if it has been a separate journey and brought in other things for you as a wahine.
It has definitely brought in other things. It's part of my life journey. Each part, so I've had 3 sections. There's been 3 kind of parts to mine. So I got my lips done in 1997, my kawai done in 2003, and then the rua whetū by Cuts done in 2013. And at each of those points in my personal life, I was going through a whole lot of change. So there's that part of it. But I don't think I can separate that. I don't know how to separate it out. It's all kind of one journey. And actually, Cuts is our tohunga pa and for our family. So Cuts did the 2 girls, my mother, my brother-in-law, my sister, who else? Who am I missed because we're walking? So he is our, in the history books, it's going to write, our whakapapa's all going to be drenched with, like how today we talk about the tohunga tā going around different communities. Well, he's ours. So in a generations, we're going to be talking, our mai moko moko are going to be talking about Cuts in the way that I speak about the past, our tupuna.
Did your girls get their kawai at the same time together?
No, Honey got hers first when she was 18.
Oh, wow.
So she's had hers for 7 or 8 years now. And then Anna had got hers when she was 20, a couple of years later.
Wow. with the diverse mahi that you do, what are your views on Indigenous female leadership? And do we need more of it? Are we doing enough? Are we supporting our Indigenous leaders? Are we growing? What do we need to do and learn for that to improve? Does it need to be improved?
I think there are different areas of life. I suppose how I can think about leadership. One is the people, the women that I see who are leading because they're leading, and others who hold title and are given a pass to lead. And some do lead and have the pass, and others just have the pass to lead. And talking about in different government, different corporate areas, you have a role, and then straight away you get, and this is just how it is. It's just how it is. So you have a voice, a bigger voice, and some use that voice and opportunity and platform for the power of other Indigenous women, and others don't. Seemingly, in my little humble opinion. It always fascinates me. So I'm kind of community. I feel like I'm down with the peeps, That's where I rock and roll. That's who I love to support and advocate for, and I believe that the best of our leadership comes from those people.
Moana, who I don't know if she's still watching, but has been watching this live, she has this whakaaro around leadership, ego versus eco. And so some people lead with their egos, and some people lead with a whakaaro about eco, the ecosystem around them, not just the natural environment. But if I can compare it to sort of what you're talking about, I suppose is more that community leadership and removing the ego and leading for the people. Are we as Indigenous wahine? Because I know that there is whakaaro out there that we need to be in CEO roles, and there needs to be more of us in these big titled positions.
Yeah.
But she's still here, kia ora. But is that what we should be pursuing? Or is there a style or type of leadership that we should actually be fostering amongst wahine, and not worrying about the titles, but growing this grassroots leadership and those leadership capabilities and characteristics, I suppose?
I'm totally grassroots. And, some of the people that when I think of people, Māori woman leadership, and thinking about, okay, Benita, who inspires you as a Māori woman in leadership? Who would I look to and think, when I grow up, I want to be like her? Who is that person for me? And you know what? I have to think really hard.
Wow.
Yeah, and then maybe this is me. Maybe I'm just I don't know, but I can think of some. I can think of some, and one is Liz Hunkin, Pia Liz Hunkin from Tātarangi back in home. I remember her coming back to our community, and I think she just hit her 50s, and she brought Tātarangi back from Wellington. She came back to our community, and her sole goal was to transform the opportunities for our communities and bring it all back. And she's absolutely amazing and nailed it, like completely transformed our whānau through that space. In terms of, I don't know, because I don't get this. I just don't get corporate leadership. I don't understand it. I don't get it at all. So, and I don't know if it's just corporate leadership, because I know some corporate leaders, that women who are awesome, but that's because they're authentic in their leadership. So it's more about maintaining your authenticity wherever you are as a leader, whether it's community or corporate, or because you can do that. And we can see the ones who are just talking a talk and then doing something else behind the corporate doors. We know that. So maybe it is just that stop talking shit. How is that actually helping us?
Exactly.
I mean, I ask that of myself in my job all the time. Saying the day that my job role isn't impacting the people that it needs to support the most, then I'm just wasting time and energy building up these spaces, privileged spaces, while I'm getting paid for it. And I still feel like that in my role sometimes, not all the time. And so I'm always at that space. Am I making an impact for the people where it counts?
And are you taking the people with you, or are you standing on top of them to get to where you want to go?
Yeah, nobody wants. I just don't understand that. I don't understand that. So I'm never going to be one of those because I don't get it.
I'm going to pivot a little bit.
Yep,
I pivoted on this corridor, but it's because you're such a dynamic wahine. There's a lot to talk about. But I'm really fascinated, extremely fascinated, in the fact that you do hypnosis.
Yes.
And I don't want you to hypnotize me right now.
I'm not doing that at all.
No, but I'm really fascinated by this because when I was at university, we had to do this. I was studying communications, I was studying journalism, but I had a TV paper, and we had to go and find someone really interesting to interview. And we met this man who said he could hypnotize people, and he hypnotized one of my classmates, and we'd filmed it. And she was describing this scenario where honestly, the videographer and I were like, she's Peter Pan. So we were, we're thinking of all these the way that she was talking while she was hypnotized just made us think that, who she was. Anyway, I've been really fascinated with hypnosis because I always think that I would never be able to be hypnotized because I'm too strong-headed and won't let anybody in my mind. But also know and understand that for some people, hypnosis is a healing tool. It's a tool that has helped. I know for one of my friends, she is no longer afraid of needles because she was hypnotized to no longer be afraid of needles. I'm really interested to know how you got into this, Mahi, and why.
So a couple of things. My life purpose is to provide opportunity, support people, guide people, work with people, educate people in order to get rid of the shit that's blocking them from living their highest potential in life. That's my destiny on this earth, in this earth walk. So I went after my own self-development journey, in education, finished a master's, did a whole lot of stuff in education, heaps of qualifications. 20 years ago, finished a master's in education, did a bit of education in all areas of life, and I still use training and development and stuff, but then went into, I went to a Breakthrough to Success seminar. There was thousands of people there. It was in Auckland by Chris Howard, and that he offered this breakthrough weekend. It was 3 days, it was free, and it changed my life, like seriously changed my life. So I wanted to do that. I want to be like him. I want to do that, what he's doing. That's amazing. So I started the journey and I paid thousands of dollars to learn how to do it. Anybody can do hypnosis if you train and learn the skills of doing it. I think with hypnosis, it's been, mystified, but it's actually a science. It's based in science. In fact, 80% of our everyday life, we are working from these automatic patterns that are generated from our unconscious mind. So we're already hypnotized. We've already got these patterns, these apps open and running in the undertow of our mind. So we are hypnotized. I like to think about it as hypnoactivism, because actually a lot of the work I do is deactivating the existing apps that are running in people's minds that are keeping them oppressed or in the trauma or colonized minds, not believing they're great, from amazing tupuna. And so I call it hypnoactivism. That's what I do. I break the patterns of existing hypnosis and mind control that we're in every day.
Is there a common thread or a common theme that people come to you with, or that you work with people on?
Yeah. Mostly there's layers of it. So one of the biggest things is negative emotion, or unmanaged, locked away in the unconscious emotional patterns that were set either from the womb to around the ages of 9 or 10, because that's when our programming is being done, right? We haven't got, our brains and mind is still developing, so there are no filters. So if any instances of trauma or have come up, so I'm example, real simple. I was learning to ride my bike, 5 years old. I fell off. My uncle or someone says, "You're useless," so and so. So my child mind doesn't have any filters. So I take on, I'm useless. It gets laid into the unconscious, my autopilot of my mind, and stays there as an open app from that time until now, if I don't deal with it. What happens is, that's what we call a gestalt event. So in the work I do with the unconscious, we release the gestalt event, but all my life, it's like Googling something. I'm useless, so I have these blocks. All I can see is more events in my life that reinforce that existing belief that I'm useless. So if I get 98 out of 100 for my exam, I'm going, God, I'm so useless. It's only 2%. How come I didn't get 2% more? I could have got 100. And so the repatterning is releasing that existing belief that's no longer helping us, and then reprogramming in a powerful one, like, actually, I fell off my bike. That means I'm really resilient. So I'm going to change that pattern from I'm useless to I'm resilient. And then we get a level up. Because only 7 to 10% of our mind is conscious, 90% is unconscious. So that's the undertow. So, when people repattern in life, and so, like me, I used to do this sort of a little bit. This is it, new year, I'm going to get fit, skinny, but, So conscious mind is saying, oh my God, I'm smashing it for the first 3.5 weeks, and then it gets cold, then I miss. But slowly, the power mind of that voice in the unconscious, might be a parent voice or something else that's saying, I'm useless. You're useless, fat bitch, you're never going to be skinny. If 90% of my unconscious mind is saying that, that's no comparison for this 10% of my conscious trying to make it work.
So for those of us who may not have access or be able to go and see someone like you, are there tools that we can use by ourselves that can help us tap into our unconscious mind and start changing some of those patterns?
Yep, totally. Actually, there's heaps. Repatterning of the mind is, there's long ways and short ways, right? So what I like about what I do is it's rapid, instant, done. But what else can you do? And there's psychology, which is in the research, that's even faster. But even counselling. But look, in my day, I did 3 years of counselling to help me with my shit, clear it in a day. 3 years of counselling, 80 ACC hours of one-on-one counselling.
Wow.
like to sort myself out, but we have these modern hybrid tools now that you can come and do a couple of hours and you have this radical transformation. So, but in terms of what can you do? I think there's heaps of stuff you can do on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like there are processes on YouTube that you can watch, and if you search like free myself from negative emotion or something as simple as like that, there are people that do hypnotic states online. The thing about it is when you have somebody a coach, like, I mean, I will give out, like I just do this stuff with people if they want it. If somebody comes and asks me, I do sell it as a thing, but if somebody came and asked me, I'll just do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes we can go to all these things and they don't work for us. Like if you went to a hypnotherapist, they're not going to show up like I show up. It's a different thing. Mostly, I don't even know how many other Māori women people that do hypnosis, because we have a different way of doing it.
Well, I've never heard of anyone other than you that is a Māori wahine that does hypnosis.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, a few years ago, I thought, oh, I'm going to start a group. I couldn't find anybody. I couldn't find anybody.
Why don't you start training up other people?
Yeah, I have got a training system. I just haven't had a chance yet to do that. But you know what I'm actually really keen on is, this isn't different from what our tūpuna did at Wānanga. You know, this is the same thing. And actually what, I'm starting my PhD this year. I'm meant to be. I haven't done much yet. But, and it is on this mind stuff because I know that what I do comes from our tūpuna. I've just used this dialect of the word hypnosis and, the science type word that I've learnt. And so when I look at the mōtiatia, chant, karakia, those things, that is a state of trance or tūmomo karakia, because I know what it is, what the levels of that state is, so then I can go, well, actually, that thing there, when we do that karakia, when we do it in this way, and when you're in line and in tune with yourself and with the higher being, with our tūpuna, then you're in that state, and then you can implant and what am I trying to say? And change the state of the unconscious mind. I just use a different language. You know what I mean? It's a dialect. It's a dialect of the same thing. Our tūpuna were credible. They did all this stuff way before these people come up with the word hypnosis. You know what I mean?
And again, it's about reconnecting, and it's, resurging those teachings, I suppose.
Yeah, I remember actually being hypnotised by Papa Joe at a wānanga in Auckland, and I didn't know what it was until I got fascinated recently, last few years, and then I realised what it was. And I remember, we're at a wānanga. This was probably 25 years ago, because we started the Kura Kaupapa in Wairoa, and so we did a visit. Our whānau from Wairoa went up to the Kura Kaupapa, and we stayed at the college. What was the college then? Before it was the university. Anyway, the marae there. And he came in and did a colours wānanga on the colours, and then asked for volunteers, and Benita puts her hands up, I'll be a volunteer. Anyway, I remember there was 6 of us, 3 seats set up like this, and then he was walking around talking about the colours, right? All the different colours. Next thing I remember, I couldn't move. Like, I was sitting in my chair, I couldn't move, and I was freaking out, and I was thinking in my mind, oh my God, I can't move my hand. And then started trying to wiggle my feet, and I couldn't move.
Wow.
Then anyway, this was like crazy, massive. And then all I remember, I was bawling my eyes out. And I was thinking, oh, what's happening? But I also remember what it was for me. I remember at the time that my oldest son, I was carrying a lot of this guilt because I had let my eldest son go and live with my sister, and it didn't work out. And then her and her husband split up. And so as a mother, at that time, I had all this guilt going on, and it just completely disappeared.
Wow. Luisa Tipene Opitaya, she
Yes.
said she loved being hypnotized. I feel like I had the best sleep afterwards. And she said, I feel the same after a mindfulness session. But what she does say as well is hypnosis shows you how strong your thoughts and mind can be.
Yes, it's freaky. Yeah.
I just want to use this time to ask anyone who's watching if they have any partai. If you've got any questions you want to ask Sister B or myself, mostly her. If you want to share any kōrero of what you might have got out of our Nuku Atu episode today. I really enjoyed talking with you. Earlier on, someone commented and saying, look at the lights in your room. Have you got a disco ball in your room?
I have. It's only a teeny weeny one.
I think we all should have disco balls in our room. That looks like it's a fun place to be.
It's like I was thinking, what kind of light do I want? Got to set it, the scene. But mostly it's because the light's crap. So then I've got this overhead thing trying to get some light plus.
Oh, yeah, see. I've got crap light in here too, and it just makes me really shiny. But oh, Te Para just said some amazing kōrero. I just wanted people to know that we're having this kōrero now, but you're also going to be one of our upcoming Nuku Wahine once the rahui is lifted, and we'll be featuring in our Nuku 100. We obviously have had to stop at number 30 because we can't go out and talk to people at the moment and take their photos. But for those that are interested in 1 to 30, they're currently online. You can listen on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. You can jump on our website, nukuwoman.co.nz, or you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and we now have a LinkedIn, which I find LinkedIn really weird, but we just thought we'd have one while we're under rahui. And I don't know what number you'll be, but once we set it up, once we come out of everything that's going on, we would definitely be coming to see you to get you locked in as one of our Nuku 100. Oh, here we go. Here's a partai. Wondering if Sister B or Hugh have any whakaaro on encouraging, facilitating connection in a whānau group with shared mamai and shared mahi?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Yeah, definitely. It depends whether the participants are all willing to be participants in what that shared mamai is. It depends who's bringing that take to the whānau. And for me, absolutely, facilitation is the key. Like I've done group stuff like that, and because it's so dynamic, I would probably want to work with the one who's carried the most of the mamai first, to then move on from there. So I think it's important, but I think it's most important that whoever has that is carrying it, that brings it, then it's most important for them to deal with their part of it for themselves first.
And Tori, who's watching from Australia, said, thank you so much for the insight. I have never thought of doing this before, but I have definitely opened my mind to it. If people do want to get in contact with you about it, how can they find you?
Easiest way is Facebook, Benita Jean page. I've got this cool as group though. Come and join that. That's Ihi inspiration. And I'm doing a lot of stuff in there, and it's just fired up. It's just fired up in the last few days. I got interviewed on Radio Tainui about it yesterday.
Awesome.
And I'm doing some interviews like this too, because now I've worked out how to do it. Thank you very much.
I joined your ihi group and I watched one of your videos, and I have to say, best advice when you suspect your tane is cheating on you.
Oh, you know what? I can't remember whether I put a disclaimer on it or not, but some people actually don't know that I joke quite a lot, you know? And so
I loved it. So I think for those of you that are interested, you should go and join her group. But part of that advice was, what was it, like find her details on his phone and go to her house and stalk her?
Stalk, and follow through. You're welcome.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're looking for some inspiration and some fun, jump on the Ihi Facebook group. If you're looking for some other inspiration and some shared kōrero, jump on NUKU. Sister B, what is your advice that you can leave our viewers with for the rest of the rahui? What can they be doing, could they be doing over the next couple of weeks?
I think whatever makes you feel good inside. Just little things. Just be gentle, be kind to self. It's an absolute time of healing for ourselves and the earth, Mother Earth, and we're going to all come out into another world. We are absolutely not going to go back to what was. Yeah.
Kia ora. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Have really enjoyed having a kōrero with you. Cannot wait to actually sit down in front of you and be able to have a similar kōrero and take your portraits. Have a safe rest of your rahui. And I can't wait to see what you're going to put on your ihi page, apopo. Maybe it could be we could just ask you Pātai about how we deal with our life, and you can give us videos like stalk and follow through.
Absolutely. I've got so many. I've got another 3 or 4 that I recorded at the same time as that one, which I'll put up soon too.
All right, whānau, pō Mārie.
Thank you.